Storms have always been a part of coastal communities and a challenge to protect the houses we build, the roads that we build, those sorts of things. Even agricultural fields, farmlands. What's changed today is that now with the climate change that's going on and the increasing temperatures we see around the world, what we see a rise in the sea level. So the glaciers are melting, the water in the ocean is expanding, and even the lands in our marshes are starting to subside a little bit. All those things are resulting in a higher level of the ocean. So now when we have storms, they're creating a greater impact than we would normally see. Why hasn't this happened in the past, people often ask. Well, one of the reasons is that sea level has been rising for centuries. We know that. Well, it turns out that our coastal habitats, the marshes, have been increasing at about the same rate that sea level does. So sea level goes up and the marsh goes up. What's happening recently is we're seeing sea level go up at a much faster pace, and that's drowning the marshes, which means that now that water is moving into the forests, into the farm fields, into the roads, into the cities, all those sorts of things. And so we're trying to find a way that we can accelerate the rate at which the marshes increase to keep pace with that sea level rise. So the Delaware Bayshore is surrounded on both sides, both on the New Jersey side and on the Delaware side, by extensive marshes. We're now seeing them flooded, and as a result of those fields being flooded, the marshes aren't reforming, and that water, the salt water, is intruding into the forests and the farm fields and the communities that are lined up along the Bayshore. Those communities that have been dependent upon fishing and farming and those sorts of things are struggling to find ways to persist in the face of rising sea levels. The rising sea level is doing a couple of things. One is it's flooding their agricultural fields, it's flooding their towns, and that sort of thing. It's also eroding their shorelines, so land is disappearing. Many of these communities exist right up to the water's edge, and it may be right along the Bayshore, or it may be inside some of the rivers, in the mouths of the rivers there. For example, the fishing communities, whether it's recreational or commercial fishing, those marinas and things are seeing a loss of the shoreline, which means that they can't maintain their marinas there.
The homes are now sitting on their stilts above the water itself. So they're no longer really habitable. So unfortunately the communities are really struggling with leaving, staying, that kind of debate as far as living along the coast goes in general. Just driving down the Bayshore, different local roads, you'll see evidence of overwash of seawater and sand and sediment into the road, where it's washed into the road regularly. And so they're having problems with infrastructure, pretty much. The homes are up on stilts now and having septic problems and all sorts of issues. So it's a real struggle.